following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more do we go into the breach, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going? Well, we're up 25.15 on the S&P cash. Don't be surprised if we close out here flat today and sell off on Monday. A pretty standard pattern for the end of quarter, especially the end of the quarter going into bonus season, which is what we have. This one actually sets up the bonus check for most of the big fun guys on the street, since the big street names like Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs don't have that many traders left. Not a big deal out there for them to try to paint the tape a bit. And see, do I have something that applies to this? I think I do. Let me see if I can find it here. You know, the problem is I just have so many of these things that I can't remember. Maybe oh, yeah, I found it. I found it.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
Yep, that's what it's all about, putting lipstick on the pig at the end of the quarter and make those bonuses as big as possible. You could get fired tomorrow or right after you get your bonus check, more like, hopefully, because you'll get the bonus check instead of not getting it. But, yeah, it's, you just got to do that. You just got to.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
And that's what happens. Anyway, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably get a better read on the direction of this market. But I suspect that we pull back 10, 15 points on the S&P cash and get right back down to 2,500. Now, if you are bullish and the volume is light, that may be a great time to actually pull the trigger on the long side. If it comes down and the volume's big, I think we've got the right shoulder of, not a head and shoulders, but just the right shoulder of a trade in the market. And it's just incredibly light volumes, incredibly lighter dollar volumes each day. I'm looking at them right now, and you know, you want to see something in the neighborhood of $3 billion traded a day at this time. That really show that we've got some kind of big breakout. We continue to have more volume, but less dollars traded. And that kind of tends to tell you that the market's heavily weighted in the small caps. And that also tells you that that's generally a huge sign of market topping action. Now, like I said, can't guarantee you that you can do that. But as I said yesterday, I think the risk reward is about as good as it gets. For the next 5 minutes, for people trading on 30-minute charts, no. But for people that take a position and, like me, have puts out into November, kind of a different story. You guys, if you're playing for the next quarter point or something, much different than playing for the big ball. As we said yesterday, we did conclude the Tesla short. I did so because I suspected that the rest of the market was getting ready to go down, and normally heavily shorted stocks start moving higher, not lower, at the beginning of that. So if you continue to see stocks, especially some of the high flyers that have come off with some juice, and we'll look at them today, if we continue to see these things up on no volume, did I tell you how much dollar volume we got now? Again, I'm looking for like $300 billion a day to really signal that we're going through the roof or more. We got about $140 billion right now. So a very light volume day, a very light dollar day. And whether you talk about it or the actual just volume in the market, the dollar volume is screaming. The actual volume in the indexes is a little more subtle, but certainly nothing that you would write home or scream about saying that people are flooding into the markets. 1.7 billion shares as we start the day's show. Normally, we don't get a lot of juice at the end of the day, but on quarter ends, you will see a lot of people tending to short the market on this day because there's a high probability that you're going to see that a lot of this putting the lipstick on the pigs comes off on Monday. And it comes off generally in a fairly big hurry. So don't be surprised to see down 10 points, down 15 points on Monday. The real story, I suspect, is going to be somewhere around Wednesday. And you're going to see those tests, and then you're going to know whether or not this was just an aberration, just a rational exuberance, just euphoria with some laughing gas. Otherwise, as a kid, we called it whippets. People still call it that when you get the laughing gas out of the whipped cream. Do they still have laughing gas in whipped cream cans? Maybe someone can answer me that too. Not that I would do anything with it, of course. But in the meantime, we're up 5 points in the S&P cash volume, 1.7 billion shares. So there's just not that much going on, but we will persevere. And, of course, as always, we'd like to start the show off with a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1913, Rudolf Diesel, inventor of the engine that bears his name, disappears from a steamship. The steamship's name is Dresden. And while traveling from Antwerp, Belgium to Hardwick, England on October 10th. What does that say, October 10th? Oh, that's because he was found then. A Belgian sailor aboard the North Sea steamer spotted a body floating in the water. Upon further investigation, it turned out the body was Diesel's. There was and remains a great deal of mystery surrounding his death. He was officially judged a suicide, but many people believe and still believe that Diesel was murdered. And why is that? Well, there were a whole bunch of not Nazi. It was one war too early. A whole bunch of German spies on the boat. He was going to a big deal where he was going to sell the license to put diesel engines in submarines for the British. And so what's the deal here? Well, it was that, of course, the Germans wanted to get that war started, the Great War, although I don't think anybody in it thought it was great. It's like the Civil War. Wasn't that civil? They don't name these wars very well. World War II, just plain, simple, you know that. Korean War, no platitudes. The Great War. Well, wasn't that great? I don't think most people would have paid for tickets. Anyway, so what are we talking about here? Well, a lot of people think they snuffed him before he had the ability to license to England. Didn't matter. They got the licenses anyway. But I'm one of those guys because they actually arrested several spies that were on that ship in several years later in World War I and put them to death in England. So there were spies active on the ship that he got tossed off. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we were having a conversation in the den. Let's take a quick look at IBM. A lot of discussions, but my question in the den was, do you think of IBM as a U.S. company? And what would make it a U.S. company? Is it a U.S. company just because its stock is traded in the U.S.? Or is that where everybody works? Well, by a preponderance of its employees, you could call IBM today an Indian company. They have about 60%, I think, of the employees now actually in India and not in the United States. So I don't know if IBM is a U.S. company anymore, other than the fact that their stock is traded on the NYSE. Maybe their headquarters is here. Does that make it a U.S. company? That's kind of hard to tell. Anyway, going sideways out here, and not a whole lot. No volume today, on a little bit down. The thing did kind of come off that 139.13 bottom. I don't see anything that changes this. Of course, they haven't done well in the last couple of earnings cycles. I don't see any of that changing. They've got some new stuff, but they're probably not going to be out for a year. There's always some great comments on Fridays in the Tiger's Den. Anyway, IBM just gone sideways out here. To me, this looks like maybe Buffett's back here selling again, and we're probably going to see some of those 10Ks roll through. Is it today or next week? I think it's today. So we may see some of those 10Ks roll through. We'll find out if he was out there selling any more of those shares. So we'll keep an eye on that. So what else do we have happening? Wanted to talk about a few things. AMZN. Since Tom's not here today, AZMN, right? Amazon. Okay. Since Tom's going up to Boston, I take it we're not going to be doing a 3:30 with him, so I'll talk about a bit about what we would normally talk about. Interesting stuff happening with Amazon this week. Of course, is a higher volume low on September 26. We've gone up for the last 3 days, but the volume did come in. It was bigger than the previous low on August 29th. Energy to the downside, off of 1,000 down to this low at 931 looks good. So either you're looking for a retest of the 931 or you're looking for an ABC down if you're even more bearish on this, which is kind of weird. But Google and Amazon are kind of in a little tiff. Didn't hear much about that this week. Google's cutting off its ability to play, Alexa's ability to play YouTube videos. And what's this about? Well, Google doesn't want to share what people are doing. And of course, it's all anything around Amazon or Google. You are the product, i.e. what you do allows them to sell more things to you depending on what you look at. So they need to know what you're looking at. What Google doesn't like is that they don't get to, with these folks, they don't get to sell them the data about what people are watching on YouTube, so Amazon doesn't know what to push to them through its retail site. Don't know how far this is going to go. It's been very mum in the tech blog world, normally where everybody makes a mountain out of a molehill. But I thought it was very interesting. Anyway, up on very light volume today. Again, you're looking at that 931.75 for a retest. Let's take a look at the Gulag, Google L. Now this one, very interestingly, is back up to this gap down on earnings. That was on 7/25, July 25th for those in Lutz, Florida. And of course, what you had on that is it's about 6 million shares on the way down. What do we have today? Well, it's pretty tough to figure out because it's only 1.24 million shares. So you're back up here. Could you get 980 out of this thing? 985 maybe? You could, because everybody, of course, wants to buy Google and Amazon and Facebook. They want to go right back to the and fight the same war that happened the war before. My guess is that this is kind of a bigger trading range, almost in all of these bigger named stocks. Microsoft, Intel, Micron, handful of stocks out here kind of getting all the love. Why these stocks, as we said, this thing kind of came down with 2 million shares, 5 million shares. No matter what you want to look at, this thing is coming back into this gap for fairly light volume. So let's take a quick look at GoPro. They're launching a new camera. I think it's either today, something like that. Wanted to see how the stock reacted. Again, this one is, of course, a little bit down. I think maybe the news was being pre-sold. Their new cameras, of course, 4K, 60 frames a second. Pretty nice stuff. Very expensive. But can that take the stink off of GoPro? Don't think so. By and after Christmas, my guess is this is back in the $9 range again for a variety of reasons. But number one, you can buy a lot of these cameras that are 90% as good for 1/10, maybe even 1/5 the price of a GoPro. So is it worth buying that extra? You got a car that goes 200 miles an hour. Is it worth paying double or triple to go 205 miles an hour? It is if you're racing. If you're not, maybe not. So that's it. Rich in Portland, how you doing?
Good, David. Thanks for taking my call.
Give me a
Hello?
full report.
Pardon me?
Give me a full report.
A full report.
Yeah. Tell me what you're doing here with GDS.
It's raining here.
Okay. Tell me what you're doing with, tell me what you're doing with GDS.
I have done nothing. I was calling to ask you what you thought of the action.
Well, you got a lot of sideways action out here. It looks like some fairly decent consolidation. What do you know about the company?
I know they're a Chinese company, which should scare people, but they're a developer and operator of high-performance data centers in China.
Okay. primarily operates the internet and banking industries in Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen. Company serves internet companies, financial institutions, telecommunications, IT service providers. This is one that I would probably give a little pass to in the fact that they're in the banking section. My guess is that the Chi-Coms are probably watching that banking business pretty closely. So these guys are not going to be able to get away with the goofy stuff that Pet.com did in 2000. So again, you have to look at these, but my guess is that, these guys are probably actually looked at by the government over there and not allowed to run roughshod if they're in the financial sector.
Right.
So I'm not going to, I do have a broad brush for Chinese companies, but not all Chinese companies. We're going to go to break here. We're going to come back a little bit, look a little bit more at GDS Holdings, a big to-do in the back end of these financial companies in China. We'll look a little more at this chart, also look at some book bites. Check this thing out.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Maybe Rich is still there. Or not. I take it not. Okay. Anyway, what we what you want to look for in some of these China companies is whether or not the institutional shareholder services is allowed to go through their books and check out what they're doing behind the scenes. This company, it is not. Not uncommon, especially for China, who thinks that whatever they tell anybody over here is directly going to be used against them in economic espionage, and probably not too far from the truth, we've found out. So you don't know a lot about it. So all you do on this one, or the only thing you can do, you're not going to get any information on it. You're not going to get any real analyst looking at this thing. Only thing you're going to have is the chart itself, and probably little or no news until it's well after the fact. You had a good sign of strength out here on the 11th. Things done nothing but go sideways. You're probably looking for something like 1070 on this one if you were thinking about buying it. So 1070, 1060, right in that range. So it's kind of coming back to you. I don't know if you're going to get that, but that's ideally where you would want to be. And other than that, not going to know a lot about it, not going to read about it until it's long over, and certainly you're not going to have a lot of coverage. So if you can trade this only on the chart, that would be it. And I got a question of whether or not TVIX would be a buy here. TVIX, not one that I trade. I'm more of a UVXY fan. You know, you're pretty much with your back to the wall on all these. They may not pan out for you, but guess what? You know, once you get to the bottom of the ocean, there isn't a lot farther you can sink. And right now, basically, there's zero risk priced into the market of lower prices. So you're going to get some decay in it. And the question is whether you can get and fade the heat. I like the trade, at least for the next day, because I suspect that we will be down, let's call it 10 points on Monday by the time everything's over. And that's just unwinding a lot of this, putting the lipstick on pig trade for the end of the month. That does not mean that if you are long or short, that this does anything other than give you one day either to get long or to get out if you think that the market's going higher and you are short. So I think you got a good day out here, little or no push higher in these volumes. So I like the trade. You got kind of a free, I think you got a free roll on Monday, and then you look and see what happens probably Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday. But I like the trade. So what else is going on out here? The one reason I don't like this at all is what's happened to other exchange traded notes. I would much rather have an ETF. I wouldn't trade this at all, ever, or would I put it in the newsletter, because it is an exchange traded note. It's a big IOU that if they go belly up, you get nothing. Whether you're up or down in this thing, it's just over. And we've seen these before. Now, it hadn't happened in a few years, but the law hadn't changed on the way these things are structured, and that is it. So wouldn't ever buy it myself. You may go for 2 years and then end up with one of these things blowing up in your face. But for me, being able to be here the next day is more important than anything else. I guess the question is it BM? I wondered if he meant IBM. Is that what you meant? We got Bill coming in. I think he's talking about IBM, not BM, but he sent it from his phone, and we all know how phones are. So let's go back and look at IBM a little bit longer out here. Yeah, 120. There's actually several gaps in IBM, and they all go back, I think, well, I don't know which ones he's looking at. 125, but there's a huge gap in IBM between 123 and 119. That's where I suspect that if this thing really gets going to the downside, is where it is headed. So hopefully that answers your question. I noticed that one time or a couple of times I looked at other people's charts, and I figured out that they are looking at charts that aren't corrected for split and cash dividends. IBM's actually did. Oh, now he's saying it's double. It's WM. Okay, not BM, WM. Waste Management. Well, I don't see that either. There's not a 127 here either. Maybe if I go back far enough, still no 127. I don't know what I don't know what you're doing. Symbol is IWM maybe. I'm just going to keep guessing here at whatever he's typing on his phone. Okay, 127. Okay, maybe that makes sense on the IWM. Certainly that is open. That is where your last big sign of strength is. Going back to November 14th of 2016. Yeah, normally at the very top of markets, you get these big runs out of the small caps, and that's certainly, you've got a parabolic move in the IWM, and I don't know what else you can say about it. It's you had the big move out here with volume at $66 or 660 million shares, excuse me. 29.4 million shares yesterday. Today, 12 million shares. Now, is this going to be the first one to come back down? I don't know. I had to say that I probably misjudged the IWM because I would really had focused so much on the tax bill actually helping all this cash to come back from foreign countries, and didn't think as much about these stocks that couldn't avoid taxes at all because they're here in the United States. And the new tax policy probably very favorable to U.S. corporations, and maybe even better than these multinationals. And I think we got that kind of big run. I do think that that's all baked in. So if this tax bill turns to dust, as many other have, yeah, I think 127 is instantly open, and you could see whenever if that bill blows up, I think you could see this down to 127 within days, if not a week of that, because I think a lot of this is all built on selling the sizzle. Okay, we got a third thing. I finally figured it out as IWM, but even on that one, he had I space WM. So I know how phones are. They're horrible to type on. So that's it. What else do we have going on? A break. We're back. Trombone Shorty was absolutely fantastic. I recommend him highly. If you're in the Miami area, he's over there in Fort Lauderdale tonight. Go check them guys out. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to open your portfolio to a world of opportunity, consider the new market-safe emerging currency CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 5 equally weighted currencies from Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, and Turkey at a time when experts see great potential for global growth. Even better, it features a 7.0 leverage factor, which means you could earn a potential market upside payment of 7 times the CD's performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. The September 28th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profile So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And no, it's not that. It's the jazz. We're talking about Trombone Shorty, one of the few acts that I really like here lately. They were in Tampa last night and are in Fort Lauderdale tonight, excuse me. But I said if Doobie Brothers and New Orleans had a baby, and that baby grew up, I think that's that's about the closest I've been able to come to this bunch. Great wailing brass section, including the lead dude there, who's a great session musician. And if you look at his stuff, everybody and their dog wants to play with him. From Kid Rock, just everybody. If you look at his records, literally he's playing with everybody, and he's on the backside of a lot of albums. Very talented trombone player, which you don't hear much about that. And of course, he's got a great brass section that all came out of after the Katrina disaster down there in New Orleans, and all pretty wailing bunch of dudes, and great act. Yeah, I don't know if I can say anything more about him. I won't give you any spoilers. Great stuff. You can always check them out on Spotify or something if you want to listen to them. Okay, so what do we have here for IWM? And yeah, I don't think that there's anything else more to say on that. The TVIX question, I think it's a free roll for Monday. So just about anything means that it's probably going higher for odds. So I do like that. Let's take a quick look at NVDA. I've been talking about how a lot of these stocks that got whacked are getting kind of their B2C looking pops with no volume. Yesterday, you kind of got that with NVIDIA with 11 million shares. Today, you got 12 million shares, up a little bit higher, but certainly back into the down candle, which was the 21st on 27 million shares. And again, 12 million shares today. So these things, everybody wants to buy them anyway, but are you like a couple of bucks away from the possibility of an ABC on the way down? I think the answer is yes. So let's take a look at a couple of these other ones out here that we've got going on. What else? I want to see Red Hat. One of the things you want to like to see is a little continuation after these things pop. And you really didn't get anything the last 3 days on Red Hat. My guess is this thing is going to come back down to about 107 and maybe 107.50. Maybe that would, if the market's going higher, market pulls back a day or two, Monday and Tuesday does so on light volume. You really get and decide to turn bullish, which would be one of my scenarios, that you do get that pullback. It's on no volume, and then we really start a fall rally. Not this, 10 points in 10 days kind of thing that we've had. It seems like going on forever. So, that'd be interesting. What I dislike is that you go 3 days and you really don't get any more push than you got the day before. Take a quick look for Microsoft for Greg. Again, you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. Okay. What else do you have? Okay. Got a whole lot. You kind of got your first opportunity to look at this. Let's go down to a little shorter time frame where this thing almost broke the trend, the uptrend. You got a good buy back here on July 3rd when this thing tested with 30 million shares compared to the 50 million shares on June 12th. So you had a good buy point. This thing pretty much up. You just haven't really made that much more money than you would have if you would have sold on the 26th of July, though. A little bit, but you're actually a tad down on that today. It's up, but again, no volume, 7.8 million shares so far today. Let's take a look at Fake Book. I just think we're enormously, questioning that in, what do I think of the SMHs? I just think we're enormously stretched. And we'll look at here. I'll look at it right after Facebook. Okay, what do we got? Nice little pop out here in Fake Book. You're up on 10.7 million shares today. You're back into the supply line. This thing came down with 41.2 million shares on the 25th. And you've basically gone all the way through there. And what did you have yesterday? 12 million shares. So you're probably going to get that today. 19 million shares the day before. But again, that's all against the backdrop of this thing coming down with 42 million shares back on the 25th. I think that was your warning signal. A lot of times these stocks give you a good opportunity to get out. But guess what? If you were thinking about getting out at 161 and you've held it till today, I would say it's almost, I'd say 1 out of 10 traders would put a trailing stop in this thing. I don't think many people could. They just are always going to believe stocks go higher and wouldn't ever pull the trigger on the downside to this one. Not go. I wouldn't short it either, but I mean, literally, you couldn't put a trade in and put anything under there, a stop or a trailing stop or anything. And that's normally where these things end up catching a lot of folks. Okay, so we looked at that. Let's take a quick look at Netflix, NFLX, see if this thing's got any juice after it coming off the top. Of course, we got into the candle of July 21st that had let's call it 9.3 million shares at 191.50, got to 189.95. Of course, that came off like the rest of them on the 25th. That did so with 9.3 million shares. The best you've been able to do on this one is go sideways. So you got that. So let's see if we got any follow through with volume on Micron today. Of course, you had the big gap on earnings at 85 million shares. The next day, 52 million shares, 32 million shares. This one, is much better looking than everything else. And the only reason I suspect the SMHs are up, this thing starts to pull back, you probably have the entire SMHs pull back. And with 3 days up and 32 million shares today, probably the best this thing's going to do is hang out here for a handful of days. Ideally, if you wanted to go long this thing, again, this thing maybe 36.25 or so would probably be 35.75, somewhere in that area would be a decent buy on it. But again, looking for a little bit of a pullback. What else do we have out here? Okay. Question in email, am I still short? Yes, I am. And I might stop out of, always stopped out of one. ill-advised trade in the rearview mirror. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy. A lot of times things don't go your way in the stock market, but hey, as long as the underlying story doesn't change, I'm not a real big fan of chasing the market. Normally, good things happen. Anyway, we'll be back after this short.
Tom O'Brien has just announced that he'll be coming to Boston September 30th for a free workshop, The Art of Timing the Trade. Join Tom O'Brien Saturday morning, September 30th at the Boston Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, as he breaks down his trading methodology and provides you with the tools to become a more successful and profitable trader. Everyone that attends in person will receive a free signed copy of Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. Daryl Martin from Apex Investing Institute will also be presenting for 90 minutes at this free event.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Join me in Boston on September 30th as I return to my hometown for a workshop about the art of timing the trade. I look forward to seeing all the tigers and tigresses for this special free event.
All action starts early at 7:30 a.m. with a continental breakfast and wraps up at about 1 p.m. Topics that Tom will be covering during his presentation include quality volume, cause and effect, ABC structures, swing points, and much, much more. For all the information on this free Boston event taking place Saturday, September 30th, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
Maybe related to that party, maybe a little Tower of Power kind of influence in there too. A lot of them, a lot of good influences in that. A lot of original stuff though. So, that was Trombone Shorty on the little bump coming in. Okay, we got a couple of minutes out here. Coming off a little bit of this, I'm looking for a little bit of pullback on a Monday and into Tuesday. And, if we're going to set some kind of top out here with the pathetic volume that we have now, let's take a look at it. Just not doing much out here. We don't even have 2 billion shares as we're going into 3. We have 1.9 billion shares going into 3 o'clock. So do I think we've reached any kind of escape velocity? No. Can markets get stretched? Yes. Don't see anything out here that really shows it. No, markets can be even more stretched than you think, but for the most part, this is a day of window dressing and a time to put some lipstick on that pig. But my guess is that we will see a sell-off on Monday and probably a little bit on Tuesday. And then the question is, do you continue to sell off, or is that a place to pull the cord and go long if we pull back on light volume yet again, which could happen. So at this moment, I think you got it kind of a free roll for Monday, being short a lot of things. And then we'll see on Tuesday and Wednesday probably the wisdom of that. Anything else going on out here? Yeah, I think that's about it. You got Tom and Tommy up there in Boston. I guess that'll be the next hour. And in the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And then we'll see you Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.